بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وآله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي. ربنا زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين. ربنا زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين. اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي. اللهم انصر أولياءك في غزة وفي كل مكان. اللهم انصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم فرج عنا وعن إخواننا في غزة وفي فلسطين كلها وفي إيران خاصة. اللهم نفس كربنا وكربهم وثبت أقدامنا وأقدامهم والطف بنا وبهم وانصرنا وثبت أقدامنا وأقدامهم وانصرهم وانصرنا على قوم الكافرين يا رب العالمين. وصل وسلم على سيدنا مولانا محمد وآله وصحبه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. So we were looking at Hume's theory of the state in this article. So of crucial importance in Hume's social theory is his understanding of human institution as capable of having lives of their own. Okay. They come into the world, although he doesn't define Hume's view of human institutions. He talked about customs. So I'm sure Hume's views about institutions are closely related to his views about customs and habits. Government arises, let's go back a bit. Government arises because of war. As eminent soldiers come to command authority among their men and then extend that authority to the groups more broadly. Law develops in part as custom and becomes entrenched and is then further established when authorities in power formalize it and judges and magistrates regularize it by setting the power of precedent. Power of precedent or precedence. In the course of time, people become attached to the laws and even more attached to particular authorities, both of which come to lives of their own. Particular authorities. Not sure what you mean by particular authorities. A sense of allegiance is born. Obviously, legitimacy is important for the state, and allegiance is one of the means through which that legitimacy is created. Of crucial importance, of crucial importance in Hume's social theory is his understanding of human institution as capable of having lives of their own. They come into the world without human design. Well, they might come with some human design, and they develop not at the whim of any individual or the wish of any collective. I mean, there might be wishes and whims which bring them into being, or that's how they start. That's how they start their life, but then they take on life of their own. For example, somebody establishes a law, then it becomes precedent, and then it creates other laws or necessitate creation of other laws and institutions. So that's how it works. Law, once in place, is a hardy plant that will survive even if abused or neglected. I mean, there are revolutions as well, isn't it? One type of laws are abolished and totally different types of laws are and customs are established at times. Government once in place will evolve as it responds to the interests that shape and try to control it. The entire edifice of society will reflect not only collective purpose or intention, but interplay of interests that contend for preeminence. For sure. The state in this analysis is the state. So we come to the state. Is not the construction of human reason. I mean, partly it is a construction of human reason rooted in individual consent to a political settlement. Some individuals who are obviously would have been important at certain points. But the point is, as I mean, the words I utter or the action which come out of my will, or individual or collective will, they take their own life as well, and they in turn affect my own life and the life of the group. So, in that sense, they have their own life. That doesn't mean that they are not rooted in. They are not rooted in human will or human reason, etc. In any way. The state in this analysis is not the construction of human reason rooted in individual consent to a political settlement, nor a product of the decrees of divine providence, even if the construction appears ever so perfect. It is simply a residue of what might anachronistically be called a Darwinian struggle. It's, I mean, there is struggle, but I don't know what's Darwinian or non-Darwinian. But struggle is part of it. A lot of it is cooperation as well. So these are just generic things, I think, which don't mean much at this level. What survive is what is most fit to do so. Well, that would be by definition. That's what you think, that whatever survive is fit to. But that there's no reason to believe that what survive is fit to do so, except at very minimal level that it survives, if that's your definition of what is fit to. But institutions and way of life struggle or mesh with other ways of life, and some survive, some don't survive for various complex reasons. There might be chances involved for all we know. The state in this story is a product of chance, okay, but he's taking chance as in a specific view of chance he has, in which what is fit survives. So that's not sort of chance, there's a logic behind it. So if we accept his view, then there's no chance really. It is nothing more than the way political interests have settled for now. The question of how power should be allocated and exercised. But there's no reason that interests are the sole determinant of the outcome of how the institutions are settled within history. People are, firstly, interest is a very narrow concept in this context, and moreover, people always go against their interests, and there's no reason to believe that the interests are the sole motive. Which is behind people's action, for example. It would be a mistake to think that they could do this simply as they please. Of course not, as if on a whim. Of course not. The facts of human psychology and the logic of strategic relations will constrain action. That's the whole history, the customs, the situation constrains your action. But sometimes action also changes the situation. So it's an interactive thing. It's not a one-way street. And what forces settle in a specific event, that depends on, that's a totally empirical matter. You can't theorize about that. Just as the facts of human psychology and the logic of strategic relations will constrain action, just as will the prevailing balance of power. But chance events can bring about the dramatic and unexpected changes, obviously, depending on what you mean by chance. Chance is really something which you can't reduce to your framework when you are doing an explanation, basically. So the important thing, however, is that for Hume, the state cannot be accounted for by referring to any deeper moral interests that humans have. Why not? I mean, at least that's how they rationalize it. And once they have rationalized it in a moral terms, then it is going to also, it's possible that it will affect the way things develop, or the institutions develop as well. I mean, you can say that it's not only moral interests, there are other factors as well, but how can you discount moral interests? The state, like all institutions, is an evolutionary product. That's just saying that if the state has a history, for example. Evolution has no purpose as evolution, but people do have purpose, and that affects the development of institutions. And no prospect of being controlled. You can say fully controlled, but people try to control their destiny, don't they? And the groups try to control things. So the important thing, however, is that for Hume, the state cannot be accounted for referring to a deep moral interest that human beings have. And another point is that this is a moral point of view as well. Denying morality itself is a moral point of view. So what he's saying is basically negating his own claim in a way, the way he's saying it. Anyway, Hume's theory of state in the end is born of a deeply pluralistic outlook. Okay, let's do it from this separately, because it's making a slightly different point. Hopefully in the next session we can finish this off. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصلى وسلم على سيدنا مولانا محمد وآله وصحبه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.